What you're essentially saying is that the Duke of Sussex is guilty of harassment and bullying and improper conduct in the governance of a charity.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm going to give you a really good example. The only reason I'm here, Trevor, is because at some point on Tuesday, Prince Harry authorized the release of a damaging piece of news to the outside world without informing me, or my country directors, or my executive director. And can you imagine what that attack has done for me, on me, and the 540 individuals in the Sentebale organizations and their family? That is an example of harassment and bullying at scale. And so if the world didn't want to believe that there's such a thing as bullying, this unleashing of the Sussex machine on me and the 540 employees at Sentebale who received this and have had to defend it
is falling apart for Prince Harry. What is Rachel Meghan Markle doing? She's baking pie, guys. But not just any pie. No. She's baking pies for our family tradition, Mothering Sunday in the United Kingdom. I kid you not. This is a woman. Oh my goodness. This is a woman who won't set foot on the United Kingdom because she has branded an entire nation of racism, that they were horrible to her to the point that she wanted to end her life, that she didn't want to set foot because it's such a dangerous place. She hates the country so much, yet she's keeping the UK mothering tradition in spite of the fact that she is a US citizen. And what is worse, how about the Nigerian mothers? Didn't she say that she was 43% Nigerian? And guess when Nigeria's Mother's Day falls on? Yep, March 30th, on the same day as the UK. Yet there's no commentary from Rachel Meghan Markle, who went to Nigeria to congratulate the Nigerian mothers. Her 43% heritage, Nigerian heritage. I mean, this is too funny not to talk about it. Yes. So while Harry's pretty much world is imploding around him, Meghan Markle is pretending nothing's happened. She hasn't come out and spoken in favor of her husband and say, you know what? My husband is not racist. What are you talking about? Why hasn't this woman come out to defend her husband, her salt or pepper, whichever way you want to look at it? This smells like, when Jessica Mulroney, her BFF, was accused of racism and Meghan kept mum because she was too busy looking out for her brand. Wouldn't this be a fantastic time for her to come out and say, hey, leave my poor husband alone. He's not racist. He's not. So everybody, everybody's talking about what Dr. Sophie Chandauka has said, but nobody's talking about the men. I touched upon it yesterday. Nobody's talking about the man who's sitting right next to her. And this is going to be a shocker to you because that is an envoy of Prince William. Yes, and yes, guys. Before we start, thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I got to say something, guys. It's taking me by surprise how forgetful the press is in regards to Prince Harry. Because now they're trying to make it sound as though, oh my God, this is the first and only scandal Prince Harry has been involved. Because in order to look at whether or not Harry is the one who founded Sentebale and why did Sentebale came about, Dr. Chandauka is being very kind. And that is not the reason why Sentebale was founded. And I'm going to give you a little bit of proof. And we're going to talk about Prince William backing Dr. Sophie. Because it is incredible that Dr. Sophie Chandauka did that interview with Mr. Ian Rawlinson right next to her. And when you know who he is, you'll understand why Prince William is there. But before, I don't know, many of you don't know about this, but it's not the first time that Sentebale has been involved in incredible scandals. This has been going on for years, guys. Now, in regards to Prince Harry, I'm going to give you this for you to ponder and think about. If Lesotho, I don't know how I pronounce it. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing. It's such an important foundation for him. It meant the world to him because, of course, he says that it was in regards to his mother. What do you think it would have done for the charity if Harry, when he married Meghan and they went on that African tour, remember the Are You Okay tour? Can you imagine if he had said, "Hey, I'm going to take my bride to my wife and I'm going to take her, I'm going to make a little detour and go to Lesotho and highlight Sentebale. I'm going to introduce her to Sentebale." What do you think that would have done for that foundation? It would have done wonders. It would have, highlighted the importance of it. They probably would have gotten a lot of donors because they were at the height of their best reputation they would ever have. Why didn't he ever take Meghan? Because by then, and this is just my opinion, Meghan was no longer interested in seeming like she was a humanitarian, nor she cared about anything or anybody for that matter. She was already planning her escape to the U.S. as the Duchess of Sussex. Most likely she wanted to go without Harry. But don't you think, please just think about it, what it would have meant for that charity, for Harry and Meghan to make a stop on their, African tour, but it never entered his head because he's not the founder of Sentebale. That is why. And I'm going to just remind you a little bit of certain scandals that happened. Because in 2005, guys, Harry was involved. The critical and crucial years for Prince Harry's, where he faced the worst of his reputation, were the 2005 and 2006 years, guys. Okay. And you're asking me what happened in 2005 and 2006. Well, a little bit prior to that also with the Eton scandal. Okay. Because it's admitted that Eton cheated in order to give Harry the grades, in order for him to complete his education, in order to be able to enter Sandhurst, the military, because he did not meet the required standards for that. So I'm going to just let you know what happened in 2005, which is when he dressed up as a Nazi. He dressed up as a Nazi 2 weeks before the 60th celebration of the Holocaust, when the Queen was supposed to meet with all the members of a lot of surviving members of the Holocaust. And there was such outrage, guys, that the newspapers were publishing this. This was horrible. And this is where they go. The photos splashed across the tabloid The Sun. And this is why Harry hates the press, because they didn't go along with the narrative that he was this cheeky prince. Okay? And this is why it says Harry's timing couldn't be worse. In just 2 weeks, his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, is due to host a reception for survivors of the Holocaust before representing the nation at the Holocaust Memorial Day national event. And what is worse is that the Sandhurst career, it says here, a major came and said, "I don't think this young man is suitable for the armed forces." If it was anyone else, the application wouldn't have been considered. It should be withdrawn immediately. Yes, people, that's what was going on in 2005. And 2006 was no better, guys. In 2006, this article was posted in 2009. In 2006, Harry issued an apology on Saturday after a British newspaper posted video footage on its website of him using offensive and racist language and mocking his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth. Okay? Keep in mind that Prince Harry was 20 years of age and 21 years old when he did all of this. Okay? So he knew better. He knew better. There were no excuses. So for those of you who, when he says that he loved and adored the Queen and she was his commander in chief and he had a lot of respect for her, no. he has been mocking the queen, her legacy, and everything she stood for and represented and worked really hard and he mocked her. He never respected the queen. I'm just showing you because I know we have that impulse of blaming Meghan Markle for everything. And it is my very humble opinion that Meghan Markle only served as an instrument, as an amplifier of what was already there. My opinion is that Buckingham Palace they were in charge of controlling or covering up Harry's dark impulses or his horrible actions. At age 16, his abuse of drugs was so out of control. At age 16, he had been doing drugs since age 13 or 12. That Prince, it reached the newspapers. And what was Prince Charles' answer to that? Oh, he took him to rehab, all right. Yes, you would think that's great, right, Paula? Paula, come on. You're being hard on Prince Charles. Well, he went to rehab for a whole day, guys. Yes. He went to rehab for a whole day. That's I don't know about you, but when you go to rehab, you should go for more than one day, don't you think so, guys? So when in 2005 and 2006 this happened, there were such huge scandals that I mean, and that it doesn't even compare to anything that he has done. So the palace decided, hey, they sent him to Lesotho in 2004, guys, because of the Eaton scandal. Okay, which was that everybody knew that Eaton had cheated in order to help him get the passing grades. So what do? They ship him to Lesotho for a full year because Lesotho is remote, and hopefully, if he gets in trouble, it won't be as reported. Which indeed it did. And then on top of that, they got that picture with poor Kiki, the one that I showed you, with the little girl that was raped, and it made the whole headline news. So they decided, why not make something? Because everybody's comparing him to Diana. What better way than to create an organization, a charity foundation, and we're going to put him in front? Do you really think that Harry, at 20 years of age, when his professors at Eden had to cheat, put their reputation on the line to get him to pass, that he would have the wherewithal to start an organization, a charitable organization? Of course not. It was the palace that created that. And the reason why Harry was never really involved is because that was just to whitewash his image. In 2007, what happened to Harry in Namibia? He was caught snorting vodka. I didn't even know that you could do that, guys. I didn't even know that you could do that. And I know what you guys are saying, Paula, you're lying about Eaton. This guy is very smart. Well, no, because The Guardian in 2005, actually, there was a huge expose about it, admitting that Eden had helped Harry pass his A-level exams. Helped, which means he failed, but they still gave him the grade. Okay. So those are very, very, very important years. And the royal family, what do? They cover it up for him. And Harry's absolutely used to doing all kinds of things. And then in 2006, Harry was also caught having, how should I put it? Being intimate with a real housewife. And when I mean a housewife, it's a real housewife, Catherine Davies. I don't know if you know of her, but that's in 2006. I mean, Prince Harry was pretty busy in 2004, 2005, and 2006. So, and I'm not even going to get into, guys, into the one when in 2011, Prince Harry was 27 years old. Okay. Prince Harry was 27 years old when these news were published. They're trying to cover up for him and say that Prince Harry spouted lewd banter about younger women and made a crude joke involving a shot glass because apparently he inserted a shot glass into this lady's lady parts. And they're trying to say that when he was 27, he spent the night with a teenage British beauty. They're trying to say that she was 8 years his junior because they want to clean it up. But apparently she was 15 or even 16. And it got so bad that he made her sign an NDA the next day, because a non-disclosure agreement, in a bid to prevent her speaking out about their encounter, because apparently he harmed her. And the people involved in that were Guy Pellis. He's always the guys that were with him in Vegas, and Tom and Skip. So don't go feeling sorry for Harry, guys. So now that you know why Sentebale was created, and it was created by Buckingham Palace, by Clarence House, in an order and a bid to prevent or curate Prince Harry's image. This is why Prince Harry's accustomed to talking down to people, to getting things done, because all of his life that has happened. Sentebale, people are wondering, why hasn't he done much? And I mean, and the average folk on the street, I mean, does it really take a rocket scientist to figure out that the fact of Megxit and the toxic image that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have, that their brand being so toxic, would basically put people off from donating? When Dr. Sophie says that they had already secured a venue, and then Harry comes and says, I'm going to do a Netflix show. Have you noticed? And please go take a look at that, because don't take my word for it. There is not one credit on that Netflix documentary or reality show of Polo for Sentebale, because that would have been a great way for Sentebale to earn streaming revenue from that if they had been named executives. But no, who are the executive producers? The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And of course, Meghan didn't want to participate when it wasn't going to be recorded and it wasn't going to be part of Netflix. Why would she show up if there are no cameras? Which is basically what Dr. Chandauka is saying. She said she wasn't going to attend because, of course, there's no cameras. But what is when there's cameras? When then they decided that there's cameras, then Meghan shows up. And Harry cost them money when he said he was going to bring Netflix, because then they had already planned that for months. That is work that happened for months that these people spent working on it. And then they have to cancel that and start working on things again. And on top of that, to make it a commercial venue. FYI, it is alleged that it was supposed to be, the whole thing was supposed to be on Sentebale. And that was one of the major arguments that they had, because she didn't understand what the hell was going on. When Meghan shows up and the cameras are there with Serena Williams, probably Serena Williams looked a little bit uncomfortable. You can see her image, because she probably didn't know what was Meghan doing. She probably thought that everybody knew. So when that awkward situation happened on stage, she is absolutely right, because Meghan is pushing her out. And the fight that happened afterwards, the way that Meghan Markle talked down to Dr. Chandauka, I'm going to do a whole video about that. But it is incredible how they want to use a highly educated woman to whitewash Meghan Markle's image. And this is why I said at the beginning that this reminded me of the whole thing when Meghan Markle said that, oh, Prince Catherine make me cry. And the palace didn't speak out about it. She focused on such petty little things that are so embarrassing by grown women's standards. You know, it's like she has a little score that she wants to settle, and the palace didn't defend me, and Kate made me cry. Are we serious? Meghan Markle was like, what, 39 at that time? She said she was a tough, hard woman, that Catherine had baby brain, you know. It's like, this reminds me of that all along, just like the Gwyneth Paltrow thing, where she couldn't let it sit. She couldn't let it stand that Gwyneth Paltrow and the entire world was mocking, and where Martha Stewart has more of a backbone, because Martha Stewart doesn't really care. Gwyneth Paltrow caved in, because, of course, Meghan Markle cannot be ridiculed. People have to come out and say, oh, no, she did this. She's wonderful. The same thing with all the bullying allegations. So who do you want to believe? Do you want to believe Prince Harry? I don't understand what the mainstream media is doing now. Surprise, because Prince Harry is so wonderful. And now we're going to get to the point of Prince William enters the room, guys, because this is juicy.
Seem to be, let's deal with the elephant in the room here.
Mhm.
is this characteristic, this way of doing things, do you think something to do with the fact that this was Prince Harry's charity, and the people, as you say, there are people on it who were in some way beholden to him? Is that the point you're making here?
I think there's something very important about that, because when the charity was set up, it was structured in a certain way. So he was this was a young Harry, a youthful Harry that we were seeing. And his work for Sentebale earned him the respect and admiration of nations, including this nation and also the people of Lesotho. And that is, and that is remembered. And so it's understandable that at the beginning he would want to have some trustees around him to create some structure and guide him and all of that. But the interesting thing is that in 20 years, the development world has moved on. That structure will not attract the sort of large institutional funding which is needed to fulfill the ambition of the organization. People will be worried about where is the directing mind? Is it the board of the trust of the charity, or is it the patron? And that, from a governance perspective, is the central issue.
You're probably wondering, why is that man next to Dr. Sophie Chandauka? That man, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Ian Rawlinson, who has served as, it's still, by the way, an honorary vice president of Prince William's Tusk Trust. He's one of the most trusted advisors of Prince William's Tusk Trust, which we know is in Africa. Okay? So for the fact that he's there, and he has just been brought in right now to help Dr. Chandauka and to try to sort out the mess that Prince Harry is. He served as a trustee from the Tusk Trust of Prince William from 2002 in 2002, and chairman from 2005 to 2013. And he chaired Tusk Development Board from 2014 till 2020. And he's still sitting as an honorary vice president. So the fact that the fact that he's sitting there, that's Prince William is in the house. And he's not letting Dr. Chandauka sit there by herself, take the fall. That is a huge message that he's sending to the world. And Harry knows it, because this gentleman is talking with absolute authority when he says that when that charity was set up, and listen to the words that he said, not when Harry set up the charity, when that charity was set up, it was set up for him. And now that you know why that it was set up, because it was in order to clean up his image, then you understand why Harry wasn't really that involved. You will understand why he forgot all about Kiki, the little girl with AIDS that he promised to help. You will understand why he didn't do more for it, why he hasn't been back for almost 6 years to Lesotho to help the charity, why he hasn't done anything with that at all, why he hasn't done anything positive with it, why he's more actively involved raising funds for African parks, because he's getting a percentage. And allegedly, guys, that Sentebale check of $1.5 million from that he donated from Penguin Random House, it wasn't really that came from his money. It was actually part of the deal, allegedly, I have to say, for legal reasons, that Random Penguin House decided that, you know what, if you're going to write this explosive book, we're going to donate a 1.5 million on top of whatever the book earns on your behalf. So this is not that Harry said, here, take my money. This is a man who's as cheap as hell. So the fact that he hasn't been there for 4 or 5 years, he has been doing very little to help the organization. And not only on that, he goes and is bad-mouthing Dr. Chandauka. He's talking behind her back to the sponsors because he wants to get rid of her in order to give her a bad image. And I am absolutely baffled and shocked, even in the mainstream media, that they don't. Why didn't anybody question Harry and Meghan when they were spewing the lies about on Oprah, calling everybody a racist, when everybody knew that's not the case? Piers Morgan walked out of a show and he was fired simply because he dared say, I don't believe what Meghan Markle is saying because she's clearly lying. Why was the world so quick to take the word of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, known bullies and liars? Meghan isn't, even the whole world was looking at that and that increased the risks towards the royal family because it increased the amount of hatred hurled at the royal family because Harry and Meghan lied. They used a huge platform to lie about the royal family. Yet all these reporters were taking their word for it. And now that Dr. Chandauka, a respected person whose track record is impeccable, they're all doubting her because everybody's ganging on her because, oops, we don't want to really upset the Duke and the Duchess. And the Duchess is keeping quiet about protecting her husband. Why hasn't the NAACP revoked the award they gave Harry for racism, for fighting racism against the monarchy? The monarchy, they're fighting racism against the monarchy. They won an award, the Robert F. Kennedy Award, and an NAACP. But yet now that Harry's being exposed and Meghan, because Meghan can't have anybody. This is worse than high school. Their egos are so fragile. Their narcissism is at an all-time high that nobody can say anything. Nobody can expose the truth because not only is the M-string media deployed, but also certain Mexiteers in the Mexican community are willing to look the other way, are willing to give Harry the benefit of the doubt. A man who I just showed you a few of the things that leaked to the press. He has been a drug addict since the age of 12, 13, whatever age. He has admitted doing so. They're willing and careful not to damage. And everybody's going, oh, poor Harry, he's so emotional, he's so fragile. What about the people he has hurt? How about the 540 people he has unleashed the Sussex PR machine? Those people, they don't have the resources to fight off the thing. I don't have the resources and I get a lot of hatred. So for me, when I heard that certain Mexiteers are trashing her image and they're even going as far as saying that she was kicked out of the Black British Business Awards because she's tanking it. I was shocked. I was shocked because that is a blatant lie. This is the Black British Business Awards that they are accusing or they're saying right now that Dr. Sophie Chandauka has been kicked out. No, she's not. She's right here. Dr. Sophie Chandauka, MBE. And why does she have the MBE? Because the Queen awarded her in 2021 an MBE, which is the highest orders for her social service. Why isn't the Black community more outraged?
Without board approval.
Well, that's just not true. Ian is witness.
Well, look, I mean, another source from who was a trustee apparently told a national newspaper that the trustees were supportive of moving fundraising towards America, but you didn't do that, you, Sophie. And I'm quoting here from the Financial Times. Trustees tried to negotiate this privately, requested she consider her position due to their lack of trust and confidence in her as a leader. Isn't the problem here that it was you was the problem, not the prince?
It was me who was the problem because I put a whistleblower complaint about the bullying, the harassment, and the misogyny, and Prince Harry interfered in the investigation of that. And the senior independent director who should have taken care of it was the very same person who then delivered the news to me that I was going to be removed by the board. So it's a cover-up. And the Prince Harry visited Africa for the first time in 5 years when I asked him to last year. Who do you think was running the show? During the pandemic, before the pandemic, and after the pandemic, Sentebale will live. Sentebale will live on because of the people.
When you see Ian sitting right next to Sophie, that is Prince William sitting right next to Dr. Sophie Chandauka. William is in the house. And William is not going to allow this lady to be betrayed by his cowardly brother. Because what is Prince Harry doing? He's in hiding. What if his skanky wife doing baking pies for British Mother's Day? Does that even make sense, guys? Please, somebody help me make sense. And I am so shocked that the mainstream media is now pretending that Prince Harry was always this honorable person when he was never that. He was never an honorable man at all. Yet now everybody's pussyfooting around. Oh, are you really saying that? All the disruption that Prince Harry has brought in, he has never raised really funds for that. It was the royal family who set up Sentebale in order to cover up his scandals. The 2012, how did Invictus come about? Ooh, I have a whole video about that. Because there's a lot more scandals. So now that you've known what kind of disgusting things Harry has done, I hope you understand and support Dr. Sophie Shandauka and know who that man is sitting right next to her. Because that is Prince William sitting right next to her, beautiful people. Make no mistake about that. And please give me your thoughts. Do you think it's right that the mainstream media is so hesitant about it? Do you think that why would Harry choose to walk away from something if he was really that involved rather than to face this woman in court? Why is Meghan not supporting her husband, issuing a statement saying, my husband is not racist, my husband is not misogynistic? No, because we all know what Meghan does with charity. Have we forgotten Uvalde? I so look forward to your